All right, now we have an example number 5 for factoring by grouping. First step in the procedure, we group the first two terms. Then we group the last two terms. From the first set, we want to pull out the greatest common factor. So the question is, what will divide both 36x cubed and a negative 30x squared? I'm thinking 6x squared ought to do it for us. So in my parentheses, 6 times what is 36? 6. X squared times what is x cubed? X. And then 6 times what is negative 30? Hopefully you're answering with a negative 5. I already have the x squared here, so that establishes my parenthesis. Out of the second set of brackets, I'm hoping to get this 6x minus 5. So as I look over here, I ask, what could I pull out of this that's going to get me to 6x minus 5? As you look at that for a moment, hopefully you're thinking 7 will do it for us. 7 times 6 is 42. Put our x there. And then 7 times negative 5 gives me my 35. Because we have a like set of parentheses, we are permitted to bring these leading terms together. And this becomes 6x squared plus 7. And you rewrite what they have in common once. So it looks like something that needs to be FOILed out. We'll move up. Example number 6. Again, very similar. You're going to group the first two, group the last two. From the first set, you have to ask yourself, what can I pull out of there? And so we look at that. It's just screaming at us. We can pull out a 7e squared. As you pull out 7e squared, you would be left with 3 minus 2. As I always say, the more times that you do the problems, you'll become more comfortable with them and you'll get much quicker. As I look at the second set of brackets, I need to get to a 3e minus 2. I have the right terms, but the wrong sign. That's a clear indication that I need to pull out a negative 1. As you pull out a negative 1, that will switch those signs, and that makes this match perfectly into 3 minus 2. I can allow the leading terms to come together and rewrite what they have in common once. And so this becomes 7e squared minus 1, rewriting what they have in common once, and ta-da, there's your answer. 7e squared minus 1 times 3e minus 2. Let me do one last example, and then plenty of stuff to look off of as you run into these polynomials that have 4 terms. When you have 4 terms, it's a guarantee you're going to want to do factoring by grouping. So once again, I'll group my first 2. I'll group my last 2. In here, I can pull out a 5y squared. Well, 5 times 5 would get me to 25. I need to be to y cubed. I have y squared, so I need another y in there. And then in a similar way, 5 times what produces 10? 2. And I already have the y squared there. So this establishes that set of parentheses. And so over here, I'm looking to get a 5y plus 2. And so I simply ask myself, what would I pull out of 15 to leave me with 5y? And that response is 3. And so 3 times that 5y is producing the 15y, and 3 times a positive 2 produces that 6. It's always a distribution to get back to the original terms. Once I can establish that my parentheses are identical, I can bring those leading terms together, and I'll rewrite what they have in common once. So you have 7 examples on how to do factoring by grouping.